are you doing? Hello, everyone. So today we're gonna do our makeup because we're gonna do, well, I'm gonna do, you're gonna want, I'm gonna do my makeup for a self-tape audition. What is a self-tape audition? Really good question, Amy. It is a audition that you tape yourself. So basically what happens is you'll submit yourself to a breakdown, or an agency will submit you for a breakdown, and then the people will come back, casting directors will come back and say, yeah, you can audition for it. Here's about 2 pages of your character's dialogue. So it'll be 1 or 2 pages of your character's dialogue. And I have a beauty blender, and I'm going to use this matte and poreless because I love full coverage foundation. And then you'll learn your lines, memorize them, and then you'll set up your camera and your backdrop and your lighting, and you'll film yourself delivering these lines, and then you'll send them back in. So that is a self-tape. So the only real difference between makeup for everyday life and makeup for a self-tape is you have to take into account the type of lighting that you have. Because if you are going to use a ring light, then you do want to powder your face. Why? Because light will bounce off of the moisture on your skin, oil especially. If you've ever seen an oil spill, it's very reflective. Well, same with your face. Oil is very reflective. And if you didn't know, there is oil in a lot of products. I can't tell if this one has it, but there is oil in makeup products. There's oil in hair products. So if you've got bangs and your bangs are touching your face, then the oil can transfer. Plus, just natural human existence gets oily. So how do you combat that and make oil not reflective? You add a little bit of powder. The other thing you want to do is you want to accentuate dark spots and light spots on your face, because another thing is when you self-tape, the extra light that you need to get a good recording. So cameras work like this. The more light you send into a camera, the higher image quality that you can get, right? So if you're in a dimly lit space, you'll notice that the pixels, it's much more pixelated. What that means is lower quality. So to help with the camera to get better quality, you usually use more lighting. Well, more lighting tends to wash a person out, so you want to use a lot more blush, a lot more contour, and that'll just help bring your features to life under the camera. So I've got this all over my face. My favorite way to apply foundation is a beauty blender for 2 reasons. One, the beauty blender is so easy to clean and you don't have to wait for it to dry. So I could literally wash this after every use and it's ready to go because it does not have to dry. Unlike brushes. Ugh, brushes have to dry so much. My under eye concealer, I'm using a shade probably like 3 or 4 shades lighter than my foundation, but I do blend these in. But I like to have really bright white under the eyes, and that's just gonna brighten up the eyes and make you look awake. I do under the chin, and then I just do a tiny bit on the forehead and then down the nose. I do the white line down the nose mostly for aesthetic reasons, just to make my nose look smaller, because you also want, when you're doing your makeup, you also want to think about the character that you're going to play, right? So if you submitted yourself for somebody that is living on the streets, then perhaps you don't want to go full glam. Maybe you want to do like this regular base, but then take it easy on the eyeshadow and lipstick. Like go for a more natural, maybe even just chapstick on the lips. Because you want them to look at you on your video and say, that's the character. That's what I read in the script, and that's the character. The concealer down to the sides of my nose just to highlight this as well. And I do try to blend it out. And that's why I love the Beauty Blender, because Beauty Blender makes blending so much easier. So that looks good. I also put some on my chin. These are just the high points of your face. So whatever your high points of your face are, put a lighter foundation or concealer on. Next, we're gonna go in with our contour. And now for a contour, you wanna use a neutral brown. Don't go for the, I'll give you a really good example. This Tarte Chocolate Gold Soleil, really great for warming up the face and making it look like you've been to the beach. Really bad for contouring. That's just gonna look like you put like brown smudge all over your face. Chanel Les Beige, the darker one, is perfect. It's a perfect contour. So what I do is I use like a stiff brush, because that's gonna help blend it out better. I'm not gonna use a Beauty Blender because I do want a little bit more preciseness with this. Just loading up my brush with the product, and I'm even moving my brush around so it's even on the brush. And then I'm gonna go in wherever I see shadows or wherever I want shadows to be. So I like to have shadows on the sides of my temple. I also like to have a shadow down the bridge of my nose. I also like to have a shadow right here under my cheekbone. And the other spot I think is super important, especially for filming, is to contour your jawline. And see how that makes a difference? Suddenly this looks like a shadow. Well, there's a natural shadow there, but, and then to blend that, you only blend down. You do not want to blend up. And that's gonna help. That's going to help, like, I don't know, make your face stand out from your neck. Now with your contour and your blush, go a little bit darker than looks natural, because we're going to powder over top of that. We have to powder over top of that. And even if you're on set for a long time, they're going to come by and powder you. Whether you like it or not, they're going to come by and powder you. So go a little bit deeper than you feel comfortable with, because that powder is going to cover. Now we're moving on to blush. I think when I talked before that when you're choosing a blush color, the easiest way to choose a blush color that matches you is to go for your natural lip color. Okay? So, I don't know, go to Sephora or something with a little handheld compact, hold the little products up to your mouth and see which one matches your mouth. See, this is my mouth, but a little bit darker. And this is gonna be the perfect blush. Well, not the perfect, but that's gonna be a really good starting point for finding a blush that looks natural on you. And for blush, we wanna look natural. We don't want this blush to detract from our performance. We just want it to enhance our appearance. So we don't want too much. Unless the character says like, blush wearing, over the top blush, blush queen. Maybe you're auditioning for blush queen. So again, we'll go a tiny bit darker. I'm gonna blend this with my Beauty Blender. I also like to bring it all around my face. I think that helps blend and look even more natural. So now we'll go with our Beauty Blender and we'll blend the seams of this contour, blush, and foundation. Now I tend to just focus on the seam of the blush. I try not to go in the middle because that's going to remove a lot of the color. So if you just go around the seams, then you'll be blending, but you won't be losing the effect. And remember, we don't need to blend this because we already blended it before. Get the sides of the nose. Now we're gonna powder. So for powder, I have this Revolution Banana Baking Powder. It's a loose setting powder. I also have a sponge, and this is actually covered in, it's actually felt on the outside and a sponge on the inside. It's meant for tanning your face, but I like using it for powder. So what I do is I put a good amount on there, and then I rub it into the felt that's on it. And this is just going to make it a little bit more even. You can also pinch it together and rub it. And then what we're gonna do is start under our eyes, and we're going to set this makeup. Now you'll instantly see how we lose saturation as soon as we do that, right? We're losing saturation. It's becoming a little bit more blurred, a little bit washed out. And that's what we were expecting. That's why you go heavy on the blush. That's why you go heavy on the contour. And we're gonna powder our whole face because, like I said, when you powder your whole face, it prevents the reflectivity of your skin, and it also helps to make you look a little bit more poreless and perfect. And make sure you put that powder all through your eyebrows. That's gonna help when we do our eyebrows. And eyebrows is the next step. So for eyebrows, I recommend using a pencil, but you can use whatever device you're most comfortable using. I have this e.l.f. pencil in Blonde, and basically all I do is I go against the growth of the hair and then I go with it. And I recommend, if you're buying or purchasing an eyebrow pencil, to go lighter than you think you need, because when you build up, like this color for example, that is barely anything there, right? Like, how's that gonna show up in my eyebrow? That doesn't look like the right color at all. But once you build that up, look how dark it is now, right? So go for a lighter color. You can always build it up. And I just fill in my eyebrows. I try to give myself a nice arch on the end. And I keep it pretty simple. That's another thing that's nice about using the lighter colored pencil, is you don't have to worry so much about messing up. You can go over the same spot more than once. So you did your eyebrows. Now we're gonna put on a little bit of eyeshadow. And now you might be thinking, but I wanna look natural. I don't wanna wear eyeshadow. Yeah, well, remember, the light is going to wash you out. So we don't want just eyeballs sitting on our face. No, we want a little definition. So what I like using are these contour palettes. This is from Revolution, and it's got a highlight and a contour. And I like using a neutral contour powder, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to swoop my brush out and then in like a triangle, and then I'm going to bring it up into the eyebrow and into the side of the nose. And all I'm actually doing here is just creating definition. See, now you have eyeshadow on. It doesn't really look like you have eyeshadow on, but you have eyeshadow on. See the difference between the side, Go in with that highlighting color, and we're gonna pop that highlighter in the inner corner of the eyes. Just this highlighting powder. And that just wakes the eyes up a little bit. See the difference? This is the only place I'm gonna use highlighter on my face. Now, if you're actually on set and you're working with a professional makeup artist and they want to put highlighter on you, then don't say anything. But as far as self-taping and filming yourself, don't do highlighter anywhere else. I mean, see what happens when you're on camera. Now suddenly this highlighter on your nose is very, very distracting. Really, all you can see on my face right now is the highlighter on my nose. Same with, like, you know, you highlight your lip or whatever. It's like now suddenly you see this line here that you didn't see before, because it's going to bounce the light off of, you're using a lot of light, and the highlighter is going to bounce the light. So what you're going to get is a white cast. But it's okay on the inner corner of the eye because that's fine. We want brightness there, so that works in our favor. Now, the last thing we're going to do is mascara. Now, all you have to do for mascara is just curl your eyelashes very, very well and apply a black mascara to the top lash, not the bottom lash. Don't do the bottom lash, only the top lash. Actually, for the bottom lash, what we're going to do is grab that contouring powder, and we're going to smudge a little of that along the bottom lash line, and that will enhance the bottom lashes without making them look like different, making them look like tarantulas coming out of our eyes. You know what I'm saying? There, see how the brown just enhances, but it doesn't distract, right? But you do want to use you can use a dark brown or a black mascara, but you do want to put that on. And then after you put the mascara on, the very last step is your lip color. Now, with the lip color, you want to go for something natural that you find in nature, like, I don't know, sangria. I feel like I find sangria in nature a lot. So that's what I'm using. I'm also using a lip oil. Why am I using a lip oil? Well, you can use a matte lipstick, that works. What you want is something that's gonna stay off your teeth, because that would be embarrassing to do a self-tape with lipstick all over your teeth. But for me, I feel like, I like a lip oil because it tints my lips and it also moisturizes them so they look healthy and helps with dryness. So that's my tip. So there we go. We've got healthy, buttery soft lips. We've got smooth, poreless skin. We've got light eyebrows. They're not distracting. They're not too dark. We've also, well, I didn't put the mascara on yet, but that's just because I don't want to curl my eyelashes. Alright, then the other thing that you can do is the next step. So now you've got your makeup done. Now I want you to go to your setup, go to your backdrop, go to your lighting, and I want you to film a test reel. So just film a few seconds of yourself moving your head side to side, and then stop it, look back at it, and ask yourself, what do I notice? What do I not notice? What do I need to bring more, accentuate more? Like maybe I need some more blush. I would add a powder blush. Maybe you need more contour. I would go back in with my contour powder. At this point, you can't add the cream because you already did all that work setting your face. So just go with the powder, and then go back. It should look right. Now I'm gonna do my hair. All I'm gonna do for my hair is just straighten it, and then I curl like the very end. It's been 2 hours because I had class, but here is the final look, and this is how I do my hair and makeup for a self-tape audition. So I hope this video helped you guys in some way. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and thank you so much for being here, and good luck everyone. Break a leg.